Going to get some metal. Here's my little setup. I'm going to be taking 20-foot tubes, so I need to be able to haul those somewhat safely in the truck, and built this little wooden rack to allow me to run the tubes all the way across the top of the truck, not scratch up the freshly painted bed. So be right back with some 20-foot tubes. Step one is going to be to build one whole side of the frame. So basically the profile, if you're looking at it from the side, I'm going to build that whole profile, then build a second one, hopefully identical, and then I'll basically build stretchers that go across, and that will give me the rough outside shape of my camper. From there, I'm going to figure out what spacing I need to do between those pieces to make it strong enough and rigid enough. Along the way, I'm gonna try and plan for where my windows are gonna go, and in the next day or two, I'll have my door, and I'll be able to plan around that. I wanna have the door fit in there super nice. This here's the basic profile that we're looking to make. I didn't draw the radiuses, I drew them as hard corners in this diagram, but basically this is the shape we're going for. So all of those corners that have an angle on them, we're going to bend the tubing and do a radius. So the first one I want to start with is that back one. So I just taped it on the floor. I know that the overall height that I want is 77 inches. So this tape line represents my overall height, 77 inches. And I decided that a 45 looks pretty good as far as the angle. So if you can imagine, this would be the flatbed. This would be the angle coming up off the back of the truck. Kind of a departure angle, as some people would call it. And then it comes up another 45 and back. And so basically what I did there was put my tape line, put how far I want it to extend, which in this case was 8 inches. And then all I had to do was make a 45 from one tape line to the next. And then I marked it on center and measured from the center marks. And that gave me my dimension, which is 58 inches for this back wall, 14 on there, 14 on there. So then I come over to my tubing and basically mark right here. This would be 14. I actually went 15, just give myself a little leeway in case I'm wrong here. And then basically 6 notches, 6 more notches. So I will cut through all of those with the chop saw, boom, 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 and then do the same thing right down here. And what I should end up with is that shape with 2 nice radiuses. So let's get that made. Put a couple of clamps on here. That first one was super close to where I wanted it, but it wasn't close enough. It's crucial that it's perfect, so I'm gonna make it again, and maybe we'll be able to use that first one, maybe not. But yeah, I just can't risk it, so I'm gonna make it one more time, try and get it even better. I did 12 notches, and my angle was like a tiny bit tighter than I want, so I want to widen that angle a little bit, so I'm gonna do 11 notches, and that should get me right where I need it. Nice. That's gonna work. welcome to the inside of the truck. Today we're road tripping. I found a door for 150 bucks on Marketplace that I think is gonna work perfect for the camper. And since we're trying to save some money on this build, we are driving to get this door. So I will let you know what kind of shape it's in when I get there, but I'm pretty stoked because camper doors are very expensive and this would save me quite a bit of money, and it'd be really nice to build the camper frame with the door in my shop so that I can like really get the door sitting just how I want it. All right, here it is. This is the used door that I got. Actually, I don't think it's used. I think it's brand new. It's a little bit dirty, but honestly, in super good shape. It's a nice wide one. It's 30 by 76, and it does have the screen door and the little window, and there's even keys right here. So yeah, scored a deal, 150 bucks. The backside? Yeah, I flipped it, yep. It only has the angle cut on one side, so still have to do that. Yeah, so that piece is also still a little long, I think. So I'm working on getting this sidewall laid out, basically the profile of the camper frame, and super finicky to get every little miter and every cut lined up perfect and square and plumb and flat. And so I'm not even close to having the one side done after 2 days because it's just been so much figuring and squaring things up and smoothing it out. And so yeah, this is hard stuff, but I'm stoked to see it come together. All right, there it is. First impression seeing it on the truck, it looks massive, but you know, I kind of trust my measurements, and as long as we don't make it too heavy, it's gonna work out just fine. If we gotta get bigger leaf springs or figure out something for the rear axle, we'll cross that bridge after we drive over it in the camper. So I'm stoked. The shape's looking great. This looks massive, but if you really think about it, this is 34.5 inches. That's like the bed space. So if you sit up in bed, you want 34 inches. Like, I mean, come on. I built this thing to be comfortable, not to be like a tent. So these are the kerf cuts that allows me to get the nice bend on the corners of the camper. So I just had to figure out what spacing to put these apart to get the radius that I wanted, and then have to figure out how many notches you need to get the amount of bend that you need. So for me, it's about a 45-degree bend. So I ended up with 12 notches. And what I did was make a little plywood jig that lifts up the tubing and pushes it away from the back plate of the saw. The reason being, you want your saw cuts to be even on the front side and the back side. And since the blade is round, if you have it pushed all the way against the fence, you'll get a deeper groove on the front and a smaller groove on the back. So by building this little jig, I'm getting a very even kerf, so that when I do the bend, it's very predictable. And you can see here, you just bend it into shape and hold it pressed with all the front edges closed and some little tacks, and that's gonna hold it. Eventually I'll weld up all these seams, but I wanna make sure I have everything nice and flat first. Just moving right along, copy and paste. Basically just checking everything for square, but I'm also kind of just clamping to my bottom one because whether it's square or not, they need to be exactly the same. So I'm just, measure, cut, tack it on, measure, cut, tack it on, measure, cut, tack it on. I got 2 more simple pieces, and then it's time to cut this big top guy. So let's get her done. Shouldn't have gone to the gym this morning. Arms are shot. Holy shit. It's big. It's rad though. I love it.
It's like that dude's in your neighborhood. Is that how big his is?
Yeah, it's very close.
Yeah.
I kind of like looked at all the specs of that one when I was drawing up mine.
Yeah.
But when you're in here, it feels great.
Yeah.
Big bed. Be able to sit right here. And there's gonna be like a cushion bench right here. So when you come through the pass through, you're going onto a cushion.
Yeah, that's right.
And then door right here. I think I want it on the passenger side.
That makes most trailers on the passenger side. So when you pull up on the street somewhere.
Ah, all right, there you go, there you go. I didn't know the reason, I just was kind of like, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
here is the completed frame. I'll probably add a couple more sticks here and there. I've got one more window to install, but I want to put this video out stopping here, and we'll make progress on the next step on the next video, which is going to be paint on the frame and insulation boards going in. I'm going to get this thing turned from a skeleton into a camper.